Don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane,
thank you for listening.
Dane, what's up, man? How are you today?
Good. Enjoying that we're finally getting some rain and been thinking about this one today and excited for it. It's a new avenue that we're starting to get into, and it's an exciting one.
Today's a big deal, man. I tell you what, we'll get to the interview, the guest here in a second. Inez, pro strongwoman,
Yeah.
2024 world's strongest or North America's strongest woman, holds the record for the strongest, I guess you'd say shoulders, like the strongest log lift in history. I think about when I go to the gym day and I'm like, all right, I can pull the 20s, maybe the 30s off the rack here and there, walk around, look
Yeah.
strong. What this girl does is unbelievable. We talk about
Yeah.
being the alpha, the strongest woman in the room. Record that I can't even explain to you. Like watching what she does. She sent me some videos and I guess you would say she's clinging. I would probably have her explain it, get the word wrong. 375, the log pressed up over 300 pounds. Dane, can you imagine having that much weight literally on your shoulders, you know? And
No, not at all. It's just a whole different world and a whole different discipline that I'm really excited to talk about.
we came across her because we've done softball, soccer, every discipline, every sport there is. And there's something I just can't get away from about being the strongest woman in the room, the alpha. Like, hey, you can judge other things. Sometimes umpires can call a bad call for a strike. Sometimes refs can get
Yep.
a foul wrong. You can't be anything like unsubjective when it comes to just this person lifts the most amount of weight. There's nothing subjective about it. It's completely black and white. This is the strongest
Yeah.
person in the room. So
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely.
I'm excited, man. I want to get to it and bring her on. Someone that we really have quickly started looking up to, and your girls will too, and everyone will. The guest of the day, Inez, pro strongwoman. Inez, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you guys?
Amazing. We're so excited to have you. Take the time to do this. I know you're busy. If I understand right, you just got back from a
Yep.
competition last weekend too. Is that right? Or
I was it wasn't a competition. I did a seminar out in Boston area.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
So you teaching, giving lessons while being the world's strongest person. That's awesome, doing a little bit of everything. I love it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump into some questions, Inez, because I'm so fascinated by what you do. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. Watching what you do, following your body of work, seeing your skill set, just incredible strength, but also just so passionate about it. I watch you every time you go off to do a lift. It's like you're doing it all over again for the first time. You're so excited. There's a passion. When did this
Yeah.
love for strong woman begin? Walk me through the world, how you got into this. When did all this begin for you, if you will?
Yeah, so I've
Hmm.
always been into sports. I played volleyball, I did track. I was a shot put thrower in high school and college. But I ended up getting pregnant my senior year of college and I stopped playing sports. I stopped going to the gym. I, I didn't really do much of anything because I had
Uh-huh.
C-section, I had a baby, and like a lot of stuff was going on. I just
Yeah.
graduated college, I had to find a job, so there's a lot going on, and the gym was kind of just like something that like went on the back burner. But I
Hmm.
always had a love for not in the weight room. I was never a fan of the weight room growing up. Growing up, I always had that thought of just like I don't want to get bulky, I don't want to get big. Women shouldn't have muscles, like and that's the thing that they drilled into our heads, in the early
Mm,
2000s, whatever. I'm 31 now, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I thought about that, back then. But I ended up gaining a lot of weight, during my pregnancy and after I had my son. And I started just going back to a commercial gym when my son was about 3. So I took about 3 years off, and I started to find my love for the weight room. I started powerlifting very shortly afterwards. I found a friend that was like, you should try powerlifting. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I thought it was cool that it was like you get to squat, you get to bench, you get to deadlift, and it's people
yeah.
cheer for you to like lift heavy weights. And I was like, that's pretty sick. I like that. But then I got very bored with powerlifting. I totaled 1,450 pounds at my last competition.
Wow.
And I was like, my goal was 1,300 or something like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm way over that goal. I hit the national squat record for USPA, which is a big federation in America for powerlifting. And I just felt like my goals were surpassed. I didn't have anything to look forward to.
Mhm.
And something big to me is I need something to look forward to or something to push me onto that next goal, or I get very bored.
Right.
And once I'm bored, I lose all interest and I don't want to do it anymore. So I didn't want
Yeah.
that to happen to the weight room because, I was starting to lose weight. I was starting to get more confident. My son was going to the gym with me, and it was like a really positive experience, for me. And my friends were like, hey, come join us on Strongman Sunday. And I was like, okay, like I'll come and like see what you guys are up to. And I picked up my first log for the first time and I strict pressed it. And they were like, you're strict pressing what we're like push pressing over here. Like the men are doing it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know I could do that,
Yeah.
I fell in love with the log press. That was like one of my first things I ever did. I was also like trying yoke and like moving events and stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is cool. You guys have so many different things you get to do. And I just fell in love with the sport. I did my last powerlifting competition like the end of October. And like 2 weeks later, I did my first strongman competition.
Oh my gosh.
I won it.
Wow.
And then ever since then, it was just like I fully immersed myself in the strongman world. And I got my pro card about a year later at the Arnold Amateur. And it just spiraled into what it is today. So
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
the whole world.
Wow.
Just going back to the gym. All of you listening out there, see, it's never a bad time to start looking at something going back to the gym, right, Dane? Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you never know where you're going to find your niche if you don't get out there and do it. So with those, Inez, all these events that you've done, what is maybe one of your favorite events, or maybe your favorite event that you've done thus far?
So event like show wise or like event like is it
Yeah.
okay, it's my favorite
Yeah,
show,
just like a show.
probably okay, this is gonna sound really funny, but last year at the Arnold Pro, I had a huge injury. I fell into the frame carry and I busted my whole face up. Like I'm talking like black and blue, 2 black eyes, face swollen. And that was the moment my strongman career completely did a 180. And I was getting 5th place at these pro shows. I was, doing big mistakes that I've like never did in the gym. But as soon as I got to the competition, I was making mistakes. And that mistake turned into a huge injury for me. I came back the next day and I finished the competition like that. And I feel like I gained the respect of like all these strongman fans out there. They're like, who is this chick? She is hardcore. Like she came back, like
That's awesome. Yeah.
Finished the competition.
Like the Terminator, man.
I am the Terminator, but I was very determined to finish that show. And it was like that moment I was like, I want to stop getting 5th place because every major show I was getting 5th place. And I was like, I hate being mid-pack. Like in the gym, I'm doing all these crazy things. And then I go to the show and I can't showcase that for some reason. And it was all about my mindset. So once that mindset shift happened, like I did North Americas a few months later and I got 1st place in North Americas. And then
let's go.
Invitational a few months after that, I won the first ever Rogue Invitational for strong women. And then a few months later, I won the Arnold Pro, which is something I historically got in 5th place at. So it just like spiraled into this mindset where I was like, I can win. I can do great things.
Yeah.
And that was my favorite event because it was like, it showed me like, hey, you're making huge mistakes. And it's like, it's costing your face now. So it's like, that event changed my life and it is my favorite show to this date.
I love how and we talk about this, Dana and I, all the time. And you're one of the reasons, another reason why you're so fascinating to me. Not that you were ever normal. You're doing what you do is not normal, but ordinary people doing extraordinary things, right? You're taking on this role of doing something that, if you look at the percentage of people in the world, there's not many people, maybe more than 2 or 3% in the world that could ever do what you're doing. And you're doing it like, you're not like a 17, 18-year-old kid. You waited until you're like a full grown, your mom, you're kind of living life. Starting almost around 30ish, like you said, that's huge. Like you figured it out and you unlock that talent, that passion. Sometimes people go their whole life and don't find it. You found this thing where you're super good at it. You're not good, you're great at it. So the influence now, you see others that are like, I mean, I've said your name a couple times, even in just post interviews, like, what? You got Inez? That's my hero. That's my idol. That's the GOAT. People know you and they look at what you do and they want to be you. So how do you stay motivated? Like, who motivates you nowadays, knowing that you're kind of beating yourself, beating your own records, if you will? Do you spar with others? Like, do you have someone that keeps you sharp? Who motivates you and mentors you to keep going and keep chasing more goals, if you will?
Yeah, I think my biggest motivator is my son. He's 8, about to be 9 in July. But like, I'm a single mom, and the biggest thing that drives me in this sport is getting kids into athletics, and it's getting girls into the weight room. It's getting girls confident. And So, like I said, growing up, it was like, don't get bulky, don't get big, don't take up space. Girls are meant to be small and quiet. I was never small. I'm 6'1", 255 pounds. I'm a big girl. And, I've always been scared to, get out of that shell and to like, take up space and do all those things. And I think that my biggest motivator is I have girls that message me and they're like, I look like you and I can do this sport and not be afraid to go in the weight room, and I can like lift heavy weights.
I love that.
And
I love that.
Yeah. And I intimidate the men. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like, that's what we're here for. So you intimidate men. Like, I love that.
Yes.
But it's like,
yes.
It's cool. Like, and I think like that's my biggest motivator right there, is just getting those women in the gym and like, working on themselves and like getting confident. And then my other biggest motivator is the other strong women that I compete against, because it's like, we're in this together. Like, it's so hard to be taken seriously by like those weirdos on the internet that like don't like strong women. They don't like watching us. And it's like, if we're like tearing each other down, we're not ever going to be on the same stage as the pro men. So it's like I love motivating the other girls. I try to like message them. I reach out to them. Like, we're commenting on each other's Instagram pages, like great lift, like whatever. See you in a few months, because we see each other at the big show. So it's like we get excited to see each other. And like, that's a big motivator for me too, because growing up, it's like I've always kind of like been on a team. And it's like you feel like you're on like a little team, of girls that like do the same thing as you. Some of them are moms, they work jobs. Like, we have Lucy's a police officer. Like, she has a normal job and she does this, on the side. And it's like, that's awesome. We have lives too. And, it motivates me to be better. And it's like, I'm the first strong woman to be really doing this full time. So it's like, I use that to like push myself and to be better, because I want other women to experience that same thing. And I want to set the stage for the women coming into the sport to be able to do that as well.
Love that. Like, there's this groundswell. Dane and I talk about this all the time. And what made us as dads, like I said, my wife and I have 2 daughters, and Dane and his wife have 1. When we came across this topic of like, I wholeheartedly, with my whole heart, Dane does too, believe that women should be respected as equally as men. Not that there should be like this asterisk. It's like, hey, you are respected equally for what you do. I got this notion when my daughter was little. She goes, Dad, I'm gonna be president one day. I was like, yes, you are, sweetie. Yes, you are. But it's like that. It made us think like, wait a minute. This is what we should be preaching. And you're right, that respect, that, hey, men should be afraid of you. Everyone should be afraid of you. Like, I want to beat you. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. I'm going to beat you in the weight room. It should just be, what am I bringing to the table? Then we talk about this all the time. It's that, what am I bringing to the table? Not anything else. Just what's my ethic? What's my work ethic? Right, Dane?
Yeah. I mean, work ethic is what gets you over the hump whenever things are bad. And it's that consistency that we always tell our daughter, you stay consistent and you'll accomplish great things. So that's a great thing to hear you say.
Yeah, I love that.
I had another question for you. Whenever you said you had an injury there, hurting your face, and you also talked about, meeting some of those younger girls in the gym. For those girls that aspire to be, on the path that you're going, that want to get into the strong woman, that want to get into powerlifting, but they're maybe a little reserved doing it because they're afraid to risk some serious injury. What can you tell those young ladies about this sport that, could kind of comfort them and say, hey, I'll try to teach you something to keep that possibility of injury as low as possible?
Yeah. So be intentional with your lifting. Like, get a coach, get a training group, training partner, whatever, and don't be dumb in the weight room. Like, don't ego lift, work on your stretching, like do your mobility, like make sure you're sleeping, make sure you're eating right. Like, if something feels off, don't push yourself through it. You know what I mean? And like risk the injury. Like, sometimes you need to take a step back and put your ego aside and say, hey, something's not feeling right. I'm not going to do it today. Like, I'm going to do something else, modify it. It's not like I need to leave the gym. It's like, instead of squatting for like 2 rep max or whatever you're doing that day, maybe you hit like an AMRAP at a way lower weight or something, and do your accessories. Accessories are huge in strongman. And I see a lot of people skipping accessories. And I'm like, some days I really want to, and I'm like, I don't want to be here any longer, but you got to do the little things to make yourself better in the long run. And, also it's like, if you got to be intentional in like competitions too, like, if you're thinking about what the audience is thinking about you or how you look, or like, You know what I mean? Or like, the comments you're going to get on like the YouTube channels and stuff. Like I get the worst comments. And it's like, if you're thinking about all that stuff and not thinking about the moment, like you're gonna, risk hurting yourself, or you're just not going to perform your best. And that's honestly what happened. I was thinking about everything else but the actual event. And what did I do? I fell. So I would say like the best tidbit of advice that I have is just live in the moment and think about what you're going to do to prevent,
I love that.
Yeah. Prevent.
Intentional. That's good. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
You said something too, and I can't say enough about this. Dane and I preach this hardcore. For every one troll out there, just know there's 1,000 of us that are like, we want to be like you. Our kids look up to you. So again, I can't take back the trolls, but just know there's way more in your corner. And I always say the ones that usually troll the most are the ones that can't do it. And don't you say that a lot, Dane?
Yeah,
like those are the ones that usually talk the loudest.
Absolutely.
They can't do it themselves, right?
So,
don't worry about them. Yeah.
It used to really affect me though. Like when I first started Strong Women, I was like, I would cry over some of the messages I got.
Oh man.
Like, some of the comments, and I was like, you know what? Like, if someone ever told my son any of this, I'd be the first one to be like, forget them. Like, don't think about that. Yep. You are better than that. And I was like, I have to put myself in those shoes and be like, hey mom, can you like defend me in this troll on the internet? And my mom will go, and my sister will go, and they'll like attack them for me. You know what I mean? And it's like,
there you go.
I love that.
Yeah, you just get people in your corner to do it for you.
We got you. We're in the quarter. Go ahead, Dane.
Now that we're in 2025, we're coming up on the halfway point of the year already.
Crazy.
What is coming up for you, competition and show wise, to round out the second half of the year?
Yeah, so America's Strongest Woman is about 3 weeks before the Rogue Invitational. So depending on the events, I will probably I'm not going to say most likely, but I'll probably do America's Strongest in Vegas and then go to the Rogue Invitational to defend my title in Scotland, which is on Halloween this year, which is pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. Yeah. Wow. So you're international Halloween, man, you got a busy plate. You got a whole, and then you got like, of course, living the life, taking care of your kid. Like you got the normal things too, like a lot on your plate, literally. So more power to you. We can't wait to see you do it. We'll be watching. We'll be cheering you on. Speaking of YouTube, this is a side thing that came to me. I can't wait. Like I see this all the time. It'd be so cool if you did like a month in the life, like just throwing this out there. Any producers listening, like a month in the life of Inez, like, hey, here's kind of my daily routine. People would eat that up, Inez. I'm telling you right now. I've watched a lot of your stuff in school. You should do that.
So my best friend and I are actually going to revamp my YouTube channel, and we're actually going to start doing stuff. We created a whole list of like in our notes, and it's just like stuff we want to put into YouTube and stuff. And she's going to learn how to edit videos and stuff.
That's
so
cool.
We can like actually like make videos. So it's coming.
Love it. Well, can't wait. We'll be watching.
Nice.
It's so fascinating to see. Like people need to see the grind. It's cool to see you break the records and to see all that. But like, here's what it takes day to day. That's what people need to see. This isn't instant cookie cutter TikTok. This is, hey, she's up at 5 a.m. grinding. You're putting work into it. The eating routine, living life. Like that's the stuff that people need to see. So I can't wait. Yeah. I mean, let me stop myself because Dane knows I'll get carried away. And it's transitioning to another segment. I promise you, Inez, and all the media that you've done, I promise you, this is a segment you've never had before. We call it Rapid Fire. We're known for this. We're 300 episodes deep. Dane and I bet on what we think you're going to say. Check this out. There's no wrong answer. We're going to give you two options, and you choose what you think is right. Whichever one of us gets closer to being right, the winner gets lunch provided by the loser. It's pretty cool. Okay. In this segment too, like time doesn't exist. You can go back in time, you can go into the future. This is just a personality test about you. We're betting on what we think you're going to say. You ready?
Got it.
Dan, you ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
It's a little different than strong woman, strong man stuff. You're approached one day. They take an Inez as you're known today, and you get to go back in time a little bit. And both of these guys say, hey, I'd like you to train me in the gym for a day. Both of these dudes come up to you. You get approached by Bruce Lee and or David Goggins. Say, hey, I want you to train me for a day. Bruce Lee, David Goggins, who are you training for the day?
I don't know who David is, so
okay. Oh, that's okay. Yep. So that's fine. David Goggins, he's like a triathlon, kind of a motivational guy. He did like 1,000 sit-ups and push-ups in like 4 minutes, something crazy. It's like insane, something super crazy. So, Dane, what'd you have on that one? Goggins or Bruce Lee? I
had Goggins. He seems like he'd be really intense.
I got you. I love it. So question 2, as 2025 is rolling around, Rogue Invitationals, Strong Woman, there's a lot of stuff. They want you, as being one of the premier leaders in the sport, to make this really cool cutting edge like hype video. First ever of its time, kind of a CGI thing is going to be a part of it. They want you to be basically on camera lifting. In this scene, you're going to be either basically bouncing around in space, like basically lifting in space, or you're going to be skydiving while you're lifting. Inez, skydiving or space lifting, which backdrop do you want, space or skydiving?
Skydiving.
Let's go. 2 for 2, Dane. What do you have on that? Do you have?
Yeah, it's skydiving.
Let's go. Got you.
Yeah,
okay.
It'd be slick.
Can you imagine you're like log pressing as you're like flying through there? It's like, all right, this is Inez, see you outside, and you just start flying through. That'd be so cool. I love it. So question 3, strong women, strong men, a lot of times athletes in movies go hand in hand. We've seen like Eddie Hall in Expendables. We've seen like Thor and, Kickboxer and stuff. You're being approached to kind of take over as the leading lady in one of these reboots, these franchises. Inez gets to be part of the remake, and you're the main character in this kind of lady version of this. You can be the star in the remake of Die Hard. It's going to be about, you as a lady. Or you can be the next chapter of Mad Max. Die Hard, Mad Max, which way you going?
Definitely Die Hard.
Dang it, I had Mad Max. I really did, Dane. What'd you have on that one?
Oh yeah, Die Hard.
Yeah, Die Hard? Really, Dane? Dang it, man. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I could see like this whole this brutality thing. Like I could see just slaying people in Mad Max. It's okay. That's all right. No wrong answer. It's all good. I got you. So you picked Die Hard. Got you. Okay. Question 4, you get to be what is the word? Like you're gonna be consultant. They're making another movie. It's another movie question. A lot of movie questions today. You're gonna be a consultant in the remake of these 2 movies. These are both classics. Check this out. Right up our alley. You're gonna be a consultant in the remake of Over the Top. There's a Sylvester Stallone classic. Or you're gonna be a consultant in another remake of Terminator. Over the Top, Terminator. You're the consultant. Which way are you going?
Terminator. I love Arnold.
I really had Over the Top, Dane. I really did. Dane, what'd you have on that one?
Oh yeah, Over the Top. Yeah, I had Over the Top for some reason.
I don't know, just like it's just something about it. I can just see, kind of flipping the hat backwards and just breaking, it's all good. No wrong answer. So we're tied so far. Last one. Let's see where we go with this. So on your next pro event, both these rappers say, hey, we love what you do. We think it's cool. We want to help promote you. We're all obviously about promoting female athletics. They want to basically like wrap you into the arena. Like, hey, making a move to, the event is Inez. The 2 guys you can choose from to kind of wrap you into the stadium is Lil Wayne or Young Jeezy. Who's wrapping you in?
So probably Lil Wayne, because I don't know who the other guy is, because I'm a death metal person. So
okay. That's cool. Okay, I didn't know that about you. Some death metal. We could down some Whitechapel, some Most Went From White. Yeah. Let's go. I got you.
Maybe some old school Sepultura or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Okay, we could talk because we can do it too. Okay. So who jamming to right now? Speaking of which, who's your favorite like metal person right now?
My favorite metal band of all time is Cattle Decapitation.
Got you. Okay, I got you. Yep.
Brutal. My walkout song is always Counting Worms by Knocked Loose.
Okay.
So like if you watch some of my videos, like at the Arnold, there's the guys in the front row were like, arf, 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 which is part of the song.
Yeah.
And they knew it because like when I was walking out, that's my song. And so they were like beyond like that. And I was like, that's awesome.
That's cool. Now I even have another level of respect for you because I love death metal too. I love metal. So Dane and I a little bit. Dane's more into the yacht rock. I'm just kidding, Dane. I'm just kidding. But no, that's just a little segment, as we do called Rapid Fire. Hopefully something different than what you've had in the past. So thank you. And then I'll give it back to you, man, for that last segment.
Yeah, on this last segment, we call it open mic. We open the floor to our guests to maybe talk to some of those younger viewers and listeners to maybe give them a wise word or two as they go along their journey. What have you, is there a philosophy or maybe a mantra that you followed from your early days to now that kind of keeps you motivated or helps you go to the next level whenever you need maybe a pick-me-up that maybe you can share with our younger listeners?
Yeah, so I think my biggest thing about me in general is like authenticity. And it's like, if you're being your true authentic self, you're never going to have a day where you're like going to regret it. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of regrets in my life, and it was things like I wasn't happy doing. So like switching to strongman, like I was like, I'm being my authentic self by like switching over to a sport that like I'm doing for myself, And it's like, I was doing powerlifting for like everybody else because I thought people would be mad at me if I switched over to strongman, and like I got rid of my coach, who was like my best friend at the time, and like I didn't want people to be upset with me, but like as soon as I switched over to strongman, I felt like I was like being my true self. And be the role model that you want. It's easy to like watch these TikTok videos of like these influencers, and like they have big houses, they have this and this. I have the smallest apartment in the world. I have a normal car, I'm a normal person, and like being humble is what keeps me in a role model position, because it's like I want to teach that to my son, and I'd love to like inspire other people to stay humble, and like that's all it really is. And yeah, so it's just like be the role model you want to see, and like not everything you see on the internet's true. Like there's a lot of fake things out there, and like there's some role models you probably shouldn't be having, but like there are people out there that are great, and like find those people, cling to them, and like strive to be, better people.
I love that. You talk about being humble, and that's what, let the work speak for itself. Like that's really what this comes down to, is all the polish and all the fake stuff, all the cookie cutter cropping and all that. You can't outwork the work. And what you're showing is that you're just the real deal. And I love what you said about kind of being yourself. We had this interview, it still sticks out to me in the early days, where he said, hey, he was a musician. He's like, if you're playing music for an empty room, but you like it, it's not an empty room, right? And not that it's empty, people watch you, but it's like, if you're doing it for yourself, people are going to love that. So Dane, you expand on that? 'Cause that's a great point,
Yeah. If you don't do something that you enjoy, you're never going to accomplish things that you should. You go out there and you do it for the right reasons from within, then you're going to accomplish great things, because all those milestones everybody else set for you really won't mean anything if you're doing it for yourself. And you're going to reach higher milestones just doing it that way, as opposed to saying, I need to reach it for this person or that person. You won't tend to work as hard, but when you do it from within, you give it everything you got.
That's cool. Inez, we love the fact that what you like to do is like world breaking and like world record setting. It's kind of cool that your hobbies are like next level. It's really cool. Nothing wrong if you're like, just chilling, like gardening, but you're like, I'm next level with my hobby. That's cool. We always say this, we can't wait to watch your career keep unfolding. You're a role model to many out there, our families and women across the world. I can't wait to watch your events as they come up. We always say, once you're on once, you're an alum. We'd love to have you back on in the future as your brand continues to grow. So please make sure you're not a stranger. Make this the first of many. Thank you really for taking the time to do this. It was an honor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Inez. Much love. We'll give you some time back in your day. We'll be pulling for you, and we can't wait to see more of you in the future. And go get them, and we'll be watching the whole time. Okay. Much love.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Inez. I'm telling you, Dane, dude, she's awesome, man. Like, just like she talks about setting a goal and goes after it and chases it. What do you think of her? Wasn't she awesome?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it speaks to the younger generation that want to do something great. You get the traditional sports like we talk about. You get something like this that has a whole different discipline, but the mindset is still the same. You do it for yourself. You do it for the right reasons. You're going to reach some lofty goals that maybe you otherwise would not have lifted. Or
you think about it too, man.
Accomplished.
You think about it. She started off. It wasn't like this was something like she was born into. It's like, hey, she found it later on, like in maybe her career, if you want to say that. Sometimes you see these kids, these athletes, like they've been playing basketball since they were 4. These athletes that grow up in the game. You don't have to necessarily be born into something to be great at it, and that's what's cool. She put the work into it. She said it's about 3 or 4 years. She's really been pushing and grinding hard, and life-changing, world-breaking, world record event in a 4-year span. She wasn't born into this. She just found her, and then, hey, your life can change, and it doesn't have to take your whole life to change it,
And two, I mean, to couple it with real world things, a lot of times they say with business, you go in there, you don't usually see the results or profits until you're maybe 5 years in. Same with this, you put everything you've got into it. You're not going to see it right away, but keep grinding, keep going through the process. 4 or 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years, you start to see some progress, and you start to really make a name for yourself. And
that's cool.
It's great to those parallels work on both mediums.
That's awesome. Well, as we always say, man, we learn a lot more than we say a lot of words, but we learn a lot more. So this is no
absolutely.
difference tonight. That was a huge win for us to get to do this.
Yeah.
Nationally world renowned strong woman. You guys check her out. We'll make sure we get the links out to her socials.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely a role model for anybody out there. Someone if you want to go after and be just the strongest person in the room. Look up what she's doing. Amazing. Many more to come. Got some more stuff coming up for May and June. Can't really spill the beans yet, but it's going to be a big month. Don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane?
Thank you for listening.
Awesome. Okay.